Guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. People go around the world for love, but they never find what they dream of. What you won't do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. I only want the best, it's true. I can't believe the things I do for you. What you won't do for love. You've tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, only you made me do for love what I would not do. Made me do for love what I would not do. Make me do for love what I would not do. Make me do for love what I would not do.
Hey, Edwina. Yes, Bobby Caldwell. Woo! We're gonna let it play till the end. Hey, Selma. It's just the three of us right now. But thank you. Oh, yes. That was Bobby Caldwell, who has recently transitioned. I just saw it today, but apparently it happened, I guess, sometime last week. He was 71 years old, a great musician, singer, composer, person. I can't say that we were close or that we like knew each other, but I had been in his company many, many times. He was hilarious, just a joy to be around. And so it's always kind of sad when someone you've had contact with, you know, close quarters even. It's always sad. There was a music spot, a night spot called At My Place on Santa Monica Boulevard in Santa Monica, just a few blocks up from the beach, really. Um, and it was a musicians and singers hangout. You just never knew who you were going to see there, who was going to have a jam session. It was really, really fun. And Bobby visited there, was there quite often. Great place just to be in the vibe, you know, the creative vibe. You, if you were singing, you didn't know, it was just so organic. You know, it just you didn't, you would get up and participate because it was that kind of spot. And that song, "What You Won't Do for Love," was one of what's his most popular song. That is a classic. And I just learned today about the cleverness that was used in the packaging, in the photography and whatever of the CD. Apparently, you know, he sounded black. So in order for the black community to accept him, uh, I didn't know that this happened, to accept him and embrace him. You know, he couldn't show that he was white. Now, there was a time when it was the reverse, when black artists couldn't put their faces on the covers of their albums. Back then it was albums. So this was kind of funny. So he took a picture that he liked of himself, and they said he used blue acetate, a black acetate, to cover up his image so that no one knew uh, if he was black or white. However, when he was scheduled to open for Natalie Cole and he showed up, it was quite a surprise, you know. I didn't care. I just thought I jumped on this song right away. I mean, I thought it was just a good tune, and I don't know that I really thought about whether it was black. I just dug the song and his voice. It was just luscious to me. So rest in peace, power, and love, Bobby Caldwell. And thank you for the music. Now, I did put a title up. I haven't been able to sleep well ever since the GOP slash bipartisan delegation visited the federal penitentiary where the insurrectionists are housed. And along came Byron Donalds, because he stood in support of the yeast beast, the woman who adds just a whole new definition to sourdough and baking bread between her thighs. He united with her and his fellow Republicans that day. And that didn't bother me so much because, you know, anymore, I don't really care what party you belong to, especially as it pertains to Black people, because it's hard fought, you know. And he obviously worked hard and put in a lot of time so that he could realize this dream that has manifested for him, that he is a representative representing his state on the federal level. I mean, that's kudos to you. So I'm not even here to say anything about you being a Republican. I am stunned by the words that came out of your mouth. And we're never stunned by whatever comes out of that fetid hole beneath the yeast beast's nose. We're never surprised. We've grown to expect thoughtless and mindless and smart alecky and unthought, not well thought out, just garbage. We've grown to expect garbage to come out of our mouth. Now, the visit itself was quite surprising to me because I don't know that Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert or any of those men who accompanied her ever thought about imprisonment or worked on any bills to correct some of the ills in prisons. They're rotting structures, they're unhealthy. And they're mostly Black and brown men and women in these places. And I don't know that any of them were ever concerned about that, gave a shit. I really don't know, but something tells me not. But however, it's important now. So according to Jasmine Crockett, a firecracker out of Texas, a Democrat, and Robert Garcia, a Democrat out of Texas, and I apologize to Mr. Garcia because I don't know if he's also a Texas Democrat. They were surprised at how well things were going for these people in prison. If I'm not mistaken, each had an individual cell. They had access to tablets. They had access to spa treatments and 24-hour medical care. And, we can sit together and write a theme song for our dear leader, a song of allegiance and loyalty. We can form a choir. Yeah. Let's face it. I don't know how many of us, when was the last time you had a spa treatment? Anyway. And also the prison was clean. I guess the walls have been painted or whatever. Things look nice. So, Marjorie really couldn't, the yeast beast, I'm just going to keep calling her Mr. Ed Jr. She always has to have something to say. And, now that the deplorable conditions that these people were allegedly staying in weren't deplorable at all, it's a cover up. The Democrats have pulled a prank. They've pulled a sneaky one. And throws in Crockett and Garcia by saying, they're obviously young in the Congress, and they don't have a clue how this prison looked when I walked through there. Crockett, on the other hand, said, I'd like to invite the delegation to come to Texas to take a look at what we have going on in our prisons, in prison, federal and or state. She said she had never seen such a thing, and neither had Mr. Garcia. So, of course, now the warden is in on it because in an interview that Mr. Ed Jr. had with their favorite TV host on Fox, Carlson, she, as an aside, said that we would have visited other parts of the prison, but the warden didn't give us permission or wouldn't let us. Some bullshit. I'm sure they had to throw that in because I'd be hard pressed to think that they haven't heard that what you saw is not at all normal within the prison setting. And so now we get to lovely Byron. Oh, incidentally, after, and that the the insurrectionists were greeted like rock stars and patriots, and there were hugs, and as they were all leaving, they were shouting, "Go, Brandon!" And I'm saying, yes, go, Brandon, go hard, Brandon, go hard. Don't let up. We can turn that around so that it's not a negative. At any rate, I digress. As they were preparing to give their press conference after the visit, there was a protester there blowing a whistle, literally, and blowing it with, I don't know if it's just one person or how, but whomever was blowing the whistle was blowing their heart out. So that when Marjorie got up to speak, they blew real hard. And then Byron gets up, and the thing I hear him say out of his mouth is that we just want to make sure everyone is being treated fairly. I might be paraphrasing, but that was the message. Brother, really? Did you really say that? You know better. I'd be willing to bet someone in your family has had a little time in the big house. Did you really say that? And then you had the nerve to get irritated when the whistleblower went in with all their might, and it got to you. It got on that nerve. And you turned around and addressed your colleagues angrily by calling the whistleblower a jerk, I think. You know, it really shook you. And then the toxic bread baker gets up to the microphone calling it Antifa or Black Lives Matter or BLM. And you stood there. And she said it, she was so snarky with it. You stood there. Now, I don't know if you had a conversation after that, but I would think that a lot of your Black friends might have crawled up your ass. That was fucked up. It was fucked up. I just couldn't believe it. And I went from being angry to just being very sad, you know? Just being sad that again, you worked hard to become that representative. But at what price, brother? Damn. You know, Cori Bush referred to you as a prop. I'd say yes. And you're very happy to be one. Wanting the approval of massa like that. I just could not believe it. And then MJT or MT, the yeast toxic bread. Oops, I went for a second. I don't know if you heard. Wanted to have the whistleblower arrested. Her words were they were attacked. No, you weren't attacked. Someone was protesting, and it had about the same, you know, I don't know if you remember your harassment of David Hogue, but that young man who survived the Parkland shooting, the shootings in Florida. I don't know if you remember that with your megaphone, and I remember when her name first came up as somebody that was running, and I was just so sure that the things that she was doing and saying just simply would not put her in office, and how wrong I was, how wrong I was. I it's become like a festering sore or an infection or something. It's really sad. But that particular incident distressed me. And if you haven't seen it, it's on Midas Touch. You can actually see the video. I might, I didn't put up my banner. Oh my gosh. My fair use banner. That's not the one. That is not the one. I wanted it to be on the ticker. And there are two of them. There it is. There we go. So yeah, that was disturbing to me, and it still is a little bit. And we cannot at all forget about another school shooting in Nashville, and the lack of conversation, the lack of movement, the lack of care, the lack of common sense about reasonable gun laws, not those that are going to put responsible people in peril. Nobody's trying to take away your guns. But when you have laws on the books where you only have to have a driver's license to purchase an assault weapon or any kind of gun, or you are of age, since 18 is the age. Yeah. So as the chaplain said, while we send thoughts and prayers, he said in the Senate prayer that this has gone beyond thoughts and prayers. It's really time for some action. It's time for some action. So yeah, people are tired of hearing empty prayers and sending empty prayers that have absolutely no love in them. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. Your prayers have no love or care, or they're just empty knee-jerk reactions. And people are tired of it now. They are tired of it, and this toxic Second Amendment thing. You cannot make those weapons, any weapon, that accessible and then whine about crime. Well, you did. I mean, I guess you could because you did it, but it doesn't make sense to me. Let me stop for a moment. And I did greet Edwina and Selma. And so it looks like we're the three that are here, and I appreciate you being here. So then again, the baker of toxic sourdough bread, the yeast beast, goes on to a Fox show and makes a crack regarding testosterone and how much testosterone this trans 28-year-old had to do some shit like that. And my question would be like, why don't you tell us? Because you got a bigger dick than Kevin McCarthy, apparently, and a lot of testosterone running through you. So why don't you tell us about it? And you know that the majority of these mass killings have come about from hetero men, and the majority being white men. Allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly heterosexual men, because, you know, we just never know. We never know. So somehow she made that crack about this. I think she was, it looked like a young boy. She looked like, well, he, because if she was transitioning, I don't want to offend by not giving the proper pronoun. But I have to wonder about something, like how it seems that on a few occasions, these school shooters have returned to schools that they know. And why? Why? There was a manifesto left by the young man. I don't know where it is. I haven't read it. I don't know that it would make sense to me, because I don't think that this just happened, or this hostility and this anger. I just can't believe that it just happened. That there had to be events leading up to have for wanting to do something so damn heinous. And somehow there are more important things, like banning books that speak on any social issue or have any semblance of color, uh, not saying certain words, uh, not placing, I mean, the history has been a lie for us anyway. And so we're going to just eliminate it altogether. It'll be void of any color, because America has a hard time looking at her ugliness. It is part of the history, you know, and not everything is pretty. I mean, personally, we probably all had things happen in our lives we wished had not happened, but they did. And they have helped create us in the image and likeness that we show up. And I just think about how misunderstood and how ostracized and how hated and how vilified the LGBTQIA community is, and especially the transgender individuals. I can't imagine that any of that is easy or desirable, to live a life where you feel as if what you see on the outside isn't who you are internally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. The torment, the lack of understanding from parents and alleged loved ones, oftentimes leading into homelessness, suicides, depression, that unimaginable depression, pain, hurt. Who would choose to live that kind of life? And humankind, not just even racially, humankind makes it difficult for people to stand in their truth. You just can't be different. especially if I don't understand the difference. It frightens the shit out of me. I'm too cowardly to sit with you. If you're my child, I take it personally. And I just can't have this embarrassment in front of my church and my friends and my parents who make it become a personal thing. The abuse, physical, mental, emotionally, spiritually. I mean, just can you imagine? And then even after successfully going through all of that, or at least and achieving such a thing, you still have to worry about being outed, or if you're outed, potentially beat down or deleted, red rummed. Who would choose that life? Could it be that all we've ever been tasked to do, all we've ever, the main thing we are supposed to demonstrate is this love? Hey, Jaconda, is this unconditional and inexplicable love that the Creator, God, Heavenly Father, Mother Earth. I don't know how anyone identifies anything so magnificent, because I don't think there are any words that can describe the beauty of this spirit, the beauty of this spirit. There are just no words that can describe it. The presence. That maybe we are to love each other because we are different, not in spite of them. To respect, to respect each other. I know that sounds kind of frilly and flowery, but I just think that that has to be a big part of it, because there is right now, after C-19 and lockdowns, if things were kind of revving up and kind of on edge prior to that, it was like a big explosion. Just a big explosion of anger and hatred and division and desire to wipe out those and that which doesn't act like or look like or talk like or isn't related or think like. I mean, really. When will we learn that you cannot kill the spirit? You cannot. And especially of the human being, let alone a determined community, you cannot. You can't kill the spirit. Why would you want to do that? The world is beautiful because of so many rich cultures and even beliefs and all the things that we can find, reasons to argue about or dislike someone about, all that kind of nonsense. It just feels as if there just isn't any real desire to get anything resolved. There isn't any real desire to find middle ground. I mean, it is not hard for the people in Congress to pass reasonable gun laws. It is not difficult. And I know Loudermilk, one of the people that I think from Georgia that I think is up to his neck in Jan's 6 planning, I think he has a gun store. He sells weapons. He has a vested interest in wanting to not do that. I don't know, and I have no answers. I just have no answers. I really don't. The only thing I say is you do your best to keep your light on and your lights on, because it will not only protect you, but it will also soften some things, perhaps. You do your best. And there are times when we have a day or some days when we have to do a little bit more self-encouragement because it's just tough to get it up. And another thing I am not liking are the just abuse of the word Christian and God. The abuse is stifling. You are not, let me repeat, you are not living by the tenets or the actions or the love or the words or the deeds. You are not living by any of those things. And you are abusing the name because you use God and Christian to justify your cruelty in all of its manifestations. And that's not a good thing. Because I do believe in karma, or what goes around. I mean, I believe in that. And I don't know what to tell you, except we just do the best we can. I said I wasn't going to be on here long. I did want to just give my thoughts on don't buy no bread from the yeast beast. Don't do it. Don't do it, or you'll end up speaking like Byron Donalds. Yeah. I don't want to leave you like this though. So I was hoping that I could get a couple of people to come up with me, but it was last minute, and I'm gonna get with them at another time. I know that she's funny. She's always busy. And today when I spoke with her, she said, I was just thinking of you, and here you are. We text, but we never get a chance to talk. I said, well, it's because you're always doing something. You're busy, and this was just before she had to get off the phone and go take care of something else, but said that she would try to join me. She'll be coming on at another time. Absolutely, absolutely. So, Bobby, I'm going to be listening to your music tonight. It sounds as good now as it did then, and it just brings back really warm thoughts of those nights, sometimes drunken nights, crowded nights at my place. I think there was smoking indoors too. I think it was It's quite the spot, but boy, what a wonderful hang. So thank you, Bobby, for the sweet, sweet memories and the sweet, 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 sweet music. Well, since spring is here, this seems appropriate. The ever unfolding rose. Yes. Cracked open. It's happening for you and not to you. Mm. So let's me go to the book. Oh, it's really one of the first cards. This is a deck that Adrian from Red Lentil Healing gave me, and I just love these cards. They're just so pretty to me. Now, the challenge of life is to keep your heart open when you most want to close it, to let life crack you open, to open through hurt and loss, to allow what is falling away to fall away. Being human is a courageous act. A life well lived is full of losses and tragedies as much as triumphs and adventures. Wherever you find yourself at the moment, life is coaxing you to keep your heart open, no matter how much it hurts, to continually unfold, to let life crack you open. Perhaps you are going through a difficult time right now. Instead of cursing the difficulty, see it as a blessing to open yourself up to the truth that, perhaps as hard as it may be, life is happening for you, not to you. And one day in the not too distant future, you may just bless the thing that broke you down and cracked you open because the world needs you open. Now is the time to go gently, to treat yourself like a tender, sweet baby, to wrap yourself in a blanket and trust that the mother has you cradled in her arms. The seas may not all be smooth sailing, but you are safe and you are held. One day, not too far from today, you will look back at the transformation and be blown away by the poetry of life. Everything is going to be, and I might add, is okay. Just be the ever unfolding rose. I like that, and I especially like it for spring. I don't know what the weather was where you are, but it was a little bit cooler here today. We only got up in the 60s, and it was in the 40s this morning. However, the sun was shining, the air was clear. We've had rain so that things looked a little fresher. It was indeed a lovely day. So I hope you all will enjoy the remainder of your night. Let me thank you, Jaconda. Maybe read um one of your comments, because you always post such interesting ones. Do we even know if it's true what they are saying about this person? They made sure they were dead before anyone could find anything out. It will all be just what they say about this person. It may be, unless someone who really loves and cares about them speaks up. I just can't imagine that this young person left here and no one gave a damn. You know, that is pain. That's a painful thought. We got each other. Uh, I can put it up so everybody can read it. Cultivate love in your heart. Do you in the best you can. And that is very true, Jaconda. I believe that is what is happening. And don't be afraid, because we're ever unfolding roses. And as a rose unfolds, it smells so sweet and it comes into its real beauty. So good night to all of you. Thank you, Edwina. It's nice to see you. Thank you, Selma. You all enjoy the evening. I got to get prepared to do another project. And thank you so much for coming over and spending some time with me. I will see you on Saturday when I'll be with Tia from Wrestling Reads, and we get up to some mischief on this Saturday coming. I'll see you then. All right. Mwah. Good night.